Hey guys, real quick before the video starts, I just wanted to say that I welcome your thoughts and input on the 4.1 update, and I would be more than happy to conversate about it down below in the comments with you guys as well as others. Anywho, enjoy the video. Hey guys, how you doing? This is Das Waffles, and today I have a somewhat concise overview for you of Update 4.1 for World of Tanks console. This update came out on October 10th, so at the time this video is going up, that would have been yesterday. I would have had an overview up on the day of the update, however, I had work and class for most of the day, so it wasn't really quite feasible to put a video together. However, better late than never. And we will go ahead and move on to the first main what's the word I'm looking for, attraction to this update, and that is the addition of brand new high tier German heavies. The Tiger P now branches off to not one but two tier 8 heavy tanks, one of them being brand spanking new, as I just said, and that is the Vickers 100.01P. And here is what that looks like. Pretty interesting looking tank, however it's quite barren looking as far as aesthetics, minus the cupola on the turret. Not much to that tank. Here is the brand new tier 9. This is the Moischen or Mauschen, pronounce that as you wish. This thing is essentially a mini mouse, looks quite similar. Couple distinctions being this has a cupola on the turret and a coaxial on the front of the chassis. Also, from a top-down view, the turret's slightly hexagonal in shape, whereas the mouse's has more of a somewhat rectangular shape to it. And of course, these two are now what lead up to the tier 10 mouse. And the Vickers 4502A and the tier 9 4502B now lead up to a brand new tier 10 German heavy tank, and that is the Panzerkampfwagen 7. And here's what that looks like. It's a rear-mounted turret heavy tank, so of course, as you'd imagine, optimum for side scraping. Gets a 128mm cannon, just like the mouse. And those are the new high-tier German tanks that have been added. And now we will go ahead and move on to the second main attraction to this update. And that is the addition of not only the first premium Swedish tanks, but the first Swedish tanks period have been added to the console version of World of Tanks. Now here we have the tier 6 medium auto-loading tank, the Stridsvagn M42-57, and gets a 4-shot auto-loading 75mm. And then of course we have here the tier 8 premium tank destroyer, the Stark Stridsvagn S1. This is the hero version of the tank. I would imagine they're probably going to add the regular unskinned version of this premium tank at some point later down the road. And this bad boy gets a tier 10 105mm cannon, so it packs quite the punch with a pretty decent DPM. So far I think I've got mine down to 8 point something seconds with the gun ramp and vents equipped, and I don't even have Brothers in Arms trained up yet. So, moving on to the key function of the Swedish tank destroyers, such as this one, mainly the hopefully soon to come high tier Swede TDs, is the unique mechanism in which you have to use in order to effectively fire at your enemies with this tank. This tank has a hydropneumatic suspension, as you see here, which allows the tank to raise the rear and the front of its tank up and down from the normal horizontal level in order to adjust the positioning for fire for this tank, because particularly with this tank destroyer, as well as some of the high tier Swede TDs on PC. The barrel for the cannon is fixed. It cannot traverse left or right, up or down. You have to use the siege mode in order to raise the tank up and down as necessary, combined with rotating left and right with the chassis in order for it to effectively fire at its enemies or opponents. So yeah, this will definitely be an interesting tank. I'm curious as to how it's going to fit in the battlefield and how effective it's going to wind up being. And I'm going to take a pretty good guess and say this thing is definitely going to wreak some havoc in the hands of an experienced player once people start getting a feel for how this tank operates and where it fits in combat situations. And now basically move on to cover some of the remaining highlights for this update, as well as some of the highlights with the nerfs and buffs entailed with the tank balancing for this update. As I speak, we're actually witnessing one of the key features that they have added. Wargaming has finally added a server replay system to allow players to go back and re-watch their 5 most recent matches during the current game session. And this is, of course, a pretty freaking good feature. It allows players to go back and record their favorite moments, or maybe they missed a match that they really wish they would have recorded. And it's not only good for just the players or you guys, it's also a pretty nice feature for content creators such as myself, as well as some of the other fellow World of Tanks content creators here on YouTube, because we don't always have our capture devices rolling, so we too even miss some really cool matches or moments sometimes. Yeah, overall, obviously, it's not a perfect feature. It rarely is something ever perfect when it's added to a game. So there is a little bit of room for improvement from what I've seen so far of the replay system, but overall, it's a pretty nifty feature, and I'm glad that they added it. In terms of maps, they added 2 new maps. One of them being Pilsen, which is essentially just a factory slash industrial slash construction type of environment with lots of construction machinery, factory buildings, pipelines, and what have you. And they also added an alternative history variant for Redshire, and that is the 1944 variant of the map. And they added a castle area to one side and then readjusted the geography to the other side. And bam, new map. Moving on. Some of the changes or improvements they've made to the game. They've improved the spotting so that vehicles that are spotted appear a bit quicker on screen. They improved explosion effects. They finally added a Czechoslovakian commander's audio voice option, as well as a Swedish one, because they just added Swede premiums. And that pretty much covers most of the, what I think would have been the most interesting improvements. They did also readjust the map rotation a bit. Moving on to tank balancing, most of these are going to be more so buffs than nerfs. But some of the key ones that I'd like to go over, they finally nerfed the freaking M55's 8-inch howitzer reload. That thing really did need a nerf. And then moving on to a lot of the buffs, they buffed the mouse and the Type 5, the 2 super heavies. They improved the armor for both of them. They added a 15 centimeter howitzer to the Type 5, as you see here. And they improved a lot of the gun values to the mouse. They also buffed the gun depression to tanks such as the E50M, the E50, and the AMX-50B. They also improved the top speed of the T95, the T28, and the T28 prototype. And they also nerfed the monstrous cupola of the T110E5 to be a bit weaker now. And interestingly, they just now recently did this on PC, but they buffed the turret cheeks of the M48 Patton so that it can work a ridgeline a little bit better now. Not sure why they didn't go ahead and add the reskin like they did on PC, but hey, still pretty cool. Other than that, that's pretty much a lot of the main balancing changes to the tanks. I mean, there's quite a bit more, but you can go read those notes in detail yourself. Anyways, keep an eye out for Swede Premium Tank gameplay videos that I will be putting up soon. I hope you all enjoyed this overview. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good day. Hey guys, I was a doofus and I forgot to inform you all that they buffed the penetration of the 15 centimeter on the E100 as well as the Tier 9 and 10 Waffenträger tank destroyers. And they also updated quite a few of the tank models to HD as well. My apologies for forgetting to include those. I will leave a link to the full build notes in the description for your convenience. Thank you all again for watching and have a good day. Bye.